All right, welcome to the first edition of the Aftermarq video series.
Wait, this is the first edition?
This is the first video.
Okay, I didn't know. That's a lot of pressure on me to be the first edition. All right, please continue.
This is the first edition. This is the very first episode of our Aftermarq video series on our blog.
This may be the last episode.
This may be the first. This might be the only because I don't know if it'll ever top this. Joining me is Mr. Jay Baer, president of Convince and Convert.
Isn't he? He's adorable. Vincenzo's just adorable. That's why it's so great to be in the first ever Aftermarq. Was it After Dark? Aftermarq?
Aftermarq After Dark.
It's
something like that, yeah.
Aftermarq After Dark's a better name. This should be like midnight. This should be a series at midnight.
And we're in Vegas, so it kind of works.
I'm not doing it tonight. Last night we could have done it. I'm done.
All right.
I'm done.
Well, we've got some
ideas.
other
time.
I got some ideas.
Right,
but
good.
I just heard you talk about something new.
New.
I think this is new to your...
To my stable of topics.
Your staple of topics. Yeah. And talk triggers.
It's called Talk Triggers. It's about unexpected things that turn customers into volunteer marketers. The thesis then is that the best companies in the world advertise the least.
Right.
Because they don't have to, right? It's been said in the past that advertising is a tax on the unremarkable. And there's definitely some truth to that. And so what I'm working on is this concept of talk triggers being not even marketing decisions, but operational decisions that make word of mouth involuntary, that compel your customers to tell other people about how awesome you are. And word of mouth, of course, still is the most powerful form of marketing that you can possibly do, and also the most cost effective. But people try to create word of mouth with marketing, but it's actually operations that typically create word of mouth. So that's what Talk Triggers is all about.
Which I find fascinating because you gave a couple examples up there. I think Discover was one of them,
yeah.
And
Cheesecake Factory,
yeah. Graduate hotels, which I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
But in today's kind of like, I know Park Howell and I, we were on a podcast interview earlier, and he called it, everyone's ADHD, everyone's got like syndrome here.
Yeah.
Where do you think this falls, or is this above and beyond everything that we're doing?
The thing about Talk Triggers is that to do it right, you've got to combine marketing and sales and operations and customer service and even legal. It's kind of the nucleus of what you're trying to do with your customers, which makes it a little bit tricky because you've got to have a lot of internal cooperation to make these kind of things happen. But when you can do it, when you can do something that exceeds your customer expectations in a way that's noticeable and powerful, the world is your oyster, man. Let's think of an example.
All right, Tony Montana.
Exactly. Let's think about how many restaurants do you think in America sell chicken wings?
Oh, 100,000.
Yeah, but think about Hooters. What if we sold chicken wings, but we had waitresses who have a special flair, let's say, right? It's still chicken wings, right? But their talk trigger is it's not marketing, it's an operational decision, right? But it requires the whole organization to align.
I find it fascinating because it's so simple, really.
Everything I do, my whole career is like taking something that is simple and saying, here's how it actually works.
It's incredible.
Like I never invent anything. I'm just a translator of trend to implementation.
So if you were to tell enterprise brands that are usually the least nimble, how could one go about implementing? I don't think you can let's implement talk triggers today. I think because you said it's operational, so it's not like a marketing campaign. You can't treat it like a marketing campaign.
That's right.
You have to treat it like DNA of your company.
That's right.
So how does, here we're at Oracle today, we're at the modern marketing experience.
Sure.
How would a company like Oracle, the size of Oracle, go ahead and implement this operationally?
Well, the first thing you've got to do is really understand all the different touch points you have with your customer, right? So what are all the places that you interact with your customer, then say, okay, at each of these interactions, at each step in this journey, could we do something that they don't see coming? Could you do something that they do not? Could you do something that they're like, wow, that's really amazing? Here's an example. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a talk trigger yet, but it's on the way. Every time we get a new customer at Convince and Convert, whoever is assigned to that project team shoots a custom video instantaneously and says, hi, I'm Jay. Hi, I'm Kelly. Hi, I'm Zonti. We're your project team. Love you guys. Can't wait to work for you, and fire it right out. Now, that's not an amazing accomplishment, but it almost never happens. and clients get that, like, wow, these guys are really on top of it, right? So could a big B2B company like Oracle do something like that at scale? Of course, they have a whole technology platform to do it, right? So one of the ways that you can achieve a talk trigger is to be more human than your customers expect, and that's an example.
You mentioned being human, and we hear that a lot. It's almost become one of these buzzwords.
It's trite. Yeah.
How do you become human at scale? Because that's what enterprise is going to ask. How do I become? Well, we can't become human at scale. We have way too many customers. We have way too many touch points. There's way too. How does one do that?
I think you've just got to say, look, the people in your company are trusted more than the company itself.
Yeah, 2 times.
Yeah, the individual people are trusted twice as much as the company itself. So how can you not focus so much on changing the message, but change the messenger? So at every point that you have to communicate to a customer, how can you make that communication come from an actual person in your organization instead of from the company, right? And if you can do that, right, then it humanizes a giant company like Oracle, which has 100, and Mark Hurd, the CEO here at the conference, said the other day they have 143,000 employees or something like that. So those are 143,000 marketers. They just don't know it yet, right? And you've got to give them the opportunity to work with customers in a way they're like, wow, yeah, I like Oracle, but I really like Vin, right? I mean, so it's that, you just put that shift on it. Now, no question, it's hard for big companies, or for any companies. Operations is hard. That's why I'm talking about talk trigger. If it was easy, people would be doing it.
And this is the first time I've heard you talk about it.
Yeah.
We've probably.
It's the first time I've ever talked about it. Today.
It was fantastic. So I appreciate you taking a few minutes to
during the debut episode of
whatever
Daytime
it's
After Dark or whatever we're calling it.
Aftermarq After Dark.
Aftermarq during the day.
Aftermarq After Dark.
Aftermarq
during the day session.
Aftermarq afternoons.
Okay. There you go. Aftermarq afternoons with the ever dapper Jay Baer from Convince and Convert. Look out for this topic, talk triggers, because I promise you this is something that you will want to implement operationally into your company, no matter how big or small you are. And this is probably one of the smartest guys, if not the smartest guys I know.
Because he only knows like 6 people.
But I know a few people. There's like 3 people, and I said guy. Remember, Amy. I know Amy
is smarter. Yeah.
I appreciate
man. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, that was.
This has been the season finale.
This has been the series finale.
Probably the cancellation of.